Hi, this is Michael, aka Mr. Bourbon, and welcome to the Mr. and Mrs. Bourbon channel, where today we're doing our 5-minute whiskey pour, where we feature a bottle of whiskey, talk about some of the facts about the bottle, and whether it's something you may like or may not like to purchase. So behind the camera today is Allie, aka Mrs. Bourbon. Say hi, Allie.
Hey everyone, don't forget to follow us on Insta and subscribe to the channel.
Thanks, Allie. So today we are showcasing Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond. So there's a lot of information on the label, and there's a lot of terminology which we're not going to go into detail on specifically. We're going to have other videos that go through the terminology. So I'm just going to highlight things. Number one, this is a bottled and bond, which is a very important federal designation. Heaven Hill, 100 proof or 50% alcohol by volume. This is a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey with an age statement of 7 years old. Very nice age statement on this bottle. It is distilled by Heaven Hill in their Louisville, Kentucky distillery. You can see its DSP on here, Distilled Spirits Producer Number. And it is also bottled by Heaven Hill, but in their Bardstown, Kentucky facility. So it's interesting that they distill and bottle in two different facilities that they own. If we flip the bottle to the back, there's not a lot of facts, but it does have a nice story, and as we know, bourbon, enjoyment of it with friends, it's also a lot about storytelling, so it's nice to see that on here. And there's a little tagger on here that talks about bottled and bond and some of the history around that. So nice label, nice bottle. There are some facts about the product that you may want to know about that's not specifically outlined. Number one would be the mash bill. Now, Heaven Hill's standard mash bill is 78% corn, 12% malted barley, and 10% rye, and that's what's in here as well. A little bit higher corn content than maybe some other distillers, but it's very standard for them to use. Number two would be their char level. This would be a char level of 3. Again, pretty standard what you're going to find most products, 3 to 4 char level when you're talking about the major Kentucky distilleries. Now looking at some of the subjective items about the product, this would be a color. I would rate it about a 1.4 or a tawny. Again, pretty standard for the product and the age. Viscosity is just swirl it around. Doesn't look thin, so this should provide a nice mouth coat and a nice finish. So you should expect to have that when you enjoy it. Now we're not going to get into the specifics of the nose or the taste or the finish, other than just some highlights that we'll talk about from our experience. Number one, it's going to be, as I said, a very traditional bourbon. It's going to be sweet, not too sweet, but sweet. Caramel, vanilla notes. The viscosity should give a nice mouthfeel. The 100 proof should provide a nice finish. So it should have a lot of wide appeal. Now everybody's going to be a little different. You're going to have some different takeaways, some different notes that you take away. But we believe this is a very traditional bourbon. Now, from a price and availability standpoint, it's a $40 MSRP, but we're seeing prices around the $50 mark, and that's pretty standard what you're going to come across for a bottle of this age and proof. I like to measure the price in like a 2-ounce pour, so it would be about $4 for a 2-ounce pour. So think about that if you see this in a restaurant. And we'll actually have another feature on going to restaurants or bars and purchasing bourbon. From an availability standpoint, this would be a 4 on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being very difficult to find, 5 being you're going to find it in every liquor store. This would be 4, maybe closer to 3. So it's going to take a little bit of hunting, but you should come across it and be able to purchase it without too much difficulty. Some other things of why you may like it. Number one, it's a $50 product. It's going to hold up to other $50 products. It provides a very consistent pour, very traditional drink. Both veteran and newer bourbon drinkers are going to like it. So it's going to have a lot of wide appeal. I would pick this up, take it to a friend's house for a small gathering, and I think everyone would enjoy it. So that's some really strong positives for it. In fact, it's one of my personal favorites. When I want a traditional pour, this is definitely one of the ones I will pull out, and it never ever disappoints. On the other side is, if you're a little more price sensitive, $50 is still pricey. You can find a lot of good bourbons in this $30 and below $30 price point. The other thing would be is if you're traditionally mix it in a cocktail, your whiskey in a cocktail or a cola, you don't need to spend $50. You know, you can find something perfectly acceptable, $20, $25. So $50 would be way too much to spend if you use it for mixing purposes. Some alternatives that Heaven Hill offers, a little bit higher up the price scale at around $70 MSRP, is their Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. It's a higher proof, higher aged product, but it's not bottled in bond. Lower would be their Evan Williams brand, bottled in bond. It's a white label. It's about $15, so it drinks well neat, but especially makes a good mixer. So if you're just looking for that, I would steer toward the Evan Williams bottled in bond product if you're just going to do more mixing. So that's it today. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed the 5-minute whiskey pour. Hope it gave you some good information before you go purchase. So thanks again, and we're going to feature some more bottles here in the near future. And as always, drink responsibly. Bye-bye.